Is it a good Mercedes-Benz? That is the question. I'm out here today to test drive the GLA 200. First impression, I'm not a big fan of how it looks. When you think of G, you think of the G-Class, the SUV. But this looks a little bit more like a crossbreed between a minivan and a CUV, crossover utility vehicle. But that being said, this is definitely a fun car to drive, right? It's got the 1.3 liter turbocharged engine. It's got a sport steering wheel. It's very responsive. The suspension is really good. You can go into tight corners and you can have a lot of fun driving it. I must say that. That's a very key point because it's very zippy. So it allows you to, it kind of handles a little bit like a go-kart, and definitely, once I said, fun car to drive.
So let's talk about the exterior of the GLA 200. This is an AMG line, so it's a very sporty looking CUV. And from the front, you can see that there's this air vent over here. It's fake air vents. And then you have the chrome all the way to there. And then the iconic Mercedes grille, this gigantic 3-point star Mercedes logo over there. And then the 19-inch alloy wheels from AMG, along with this body styling side skirts. And then when you look at the back, this is where things get interesting. So at the back of the GLA, you can see that there's additional fake air vents over here, and things get a little bit worse. And you see that the exhaust tips is also fake. I have an iPhone 10. This fits really well. You can hide something in there too if you want. Oops, sorry for that. So that's the exterior of the GLA. Let's see how it drives.
And now we're gonna start driving this beautiful interior car. I must say that I kind of like the interior more than I like the exterior. And the gear lever is on this side, which is really good because I mean, I'm not much of a city driver, but it is getting so comfortable to move the car around. Now, right now, we were just filming some video shots of the car, and to move the car around, it just makes sense to have the gear lever on the right. Like, you want to move it, it's just P, R, N, D. It's just everything is right there, as opposed to this whole clunky deal over here.
I find myself using that really comfortably, especially in the parking lot, where you have to like go forward, go backward, and park and everything. Driving the city is also a very pleasant experience using that gear lever over there. We're in the middle of the jungle, which is
our usual testing ground. This is where we can safely film shots that don't kill other people. I guess to start off, I just want to say that this is once again the second cheapest Mercedes-Benz in the market.
The cheapest one is the A-Class, and this is based off of the A-Class platform. So it's pretty much an SUV-like shelf on an A-Class platform.
This is clearly a CUV.
Yeah.
Because it does not have that high ground clearance. It's very much like a sedan, maybe just a tiny bit more.
Yeah, A-Class is 2.1 million.
2.1 million baht. Oh, okay. All right. So this is still, we're talking about a good amount of money. If you don't want to go for the cheapest Mercedes in there, this is that one level up. It's for something that it looks a little different and is not that common in the market.
This is the second gen, so you might be seeing a little bit less of the GLAs, the second generation. The first one, there's plenty of them I have seen. It's pretty popular. Yeah, this one is slightly shorter than the first one, but it's wider, and the interior is slightly taller. So it's slightly a bigger car, pretty much, as compared to the older generation.
It does have a little bit of a minivan look to it. The moment it has the word G, I kind of think of the G-Class.
Yeah, it happened to me too, but then, like looking at this car, it is a CUV, but then like at the back it's kind of like a coupe-like CUV, because that's as far as I can see, that's the styling the Mercedes is going with some of their cars, like a shooting brake line, and they're kind of like an estate, but a very coupe-like estate.
Yeah, that's true. But I must say that this car does come with that really fancy 1.3 liter turbocharged engine.
It's a 4-cylinder producing 163 horsepower with 250 Newton meter of torque. comes with a 7-speed gearbox with dual clutch, which shifts really smoothly.
And it's got paddle shifters.
Yeah, it's got paddle shifter too, really curved to your hand, and shifting is very a pleasant thing. But I don't really use it as often. However, I do use it to get some engine brake from the car, which is very helpful. But for speeding, I don't really use it as much.
I must say that despite the fact that I'm not a big fan of the looks of this car, using it in the past one day that I've been using this car, it really does have a lot of comfort. It's a very comfortable car to use, right? So yeah, I can totally imagine this being perfect city car. A little bigger than the C-Class, not a traditional sedan. It gives you extra space in the back. Although I'm a little upset at the fact that the rear tailgate is not electric.
Yeah, that's a very sad thing. I don't know what happened, but I think electric tailgate is something that we need, because especially at this price range, they have 2.39 million baht. We're expecting to get all the cool features. But regardless of electric tailgate, we have a lot of techie stuff over here.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes up for electric tailgate.
Yeah, that's right. And I must add on the techie stuff that Phum's talking about, that there is a lot of ways to access the exact same thing.
Yeah.
There's so much. So you have a trackpad over here where you can access stuff on. You have the touch screen over here that you can access and get stuff done on. You've got these tiny little mouse pads that are on the steering wheel. Not one, but two of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you can use those to just use your thumbs to move around all the functionality of the car, which is wow. That is it's quite impressive. Once you start getting used to it, you'll have a certain style. You'll pick your style. You won't use all of them.
Yeah.
You will pick your style.
Yeah. When I first got into this car, I was a bit overwhelmed because there are just so many buttons, especially on the steering wheel. But then I learned that the left control panel controls the left screen, and then the right control panel controls the right screen, which is pretty helpful.
And I must say that all of the information displays in this car are LCD displays. That means that you can change everything about them. Even your speedometer, if you want your speedometer to look really cool, with the classic look, you got the classic look. You want the modern look, you've got a whole bunch of looks. So it's so interesting that you can tailor make everything to exactly how you want it to be, right?
So I think there are 4 different speedometer designs in that screen.
Yeah.
So the one that we're having now is the classic.
This is the classic one.
We also have the sports, the progressive, and then the understated, which is only the speedometer and a digital clock, which is pretty nice.
Yeah. So a lot of cool functions that are built into it, and also the fact that the interior comes with 64 different color combinations.
Yeah. So there are light strips everywhere in this car, and this is changeable. 64 colors.
64.
Yeah, so you can pick it by yourself, or you can pick it by Mercedes choices. There are themes, they call it fire red, glacier, ice blue, lots of stuff. So if you ever get bored of your interior, don't
worry
bother.
about it.
Mercedes got you.
Yeah. If you're one of those kind of people who have a tough time making a decision, this might not be your car, because you've got a lot of decisions to make in terms of what your interior of your car looks like at night, especially.
I think this is a huge go because you get all the Mercedes goodness. It drives really well, it's very comfortable, it's AMG line, you get all the Mercedes technology in this car, but it doesn't come with an electric tailgate and a rear air condition. If you can live without those 2 features, you're good to go.
And my call is this car is actually pretty good to go, right? The Mercedes-Benz GLA 200 with the AMG kit might be a tad expensive at 2.4 million baht, but that means you don't have to pay that much money to get a Mercedes-Benz like the C-Class, and you don't have to go all the way down to the level of an A-Class. You get something in between that is still having the 3-pointed star. But personally, I'm not a big fan of the design of the GLA. But that's not much of a problem for some people, is it? And it also fits into a wide range of people who can use it, from the younger generation, for whose parents buy them a GLA, or even for mommies or daddies want to take their kids to school, this is also an option because it's got a fair bunch of safety features put into it. From my point of view, the GLA 200 is good to go.